Today I'm going to go over my lean mass and my body fat percentage from my BodPod exam. Hey, what's shaking bacon? My name's Bruno Panucci. I hope you're doing well. So I'm going to go over some important information today because when we lose weight, we want to make sure we're trying to keep as much lean mass as possible. Typically, that's something you want to try and strive for. Otherwise, you just become a sort of skinnier version of your fat self. You know what I'm talking about? Someone who, they put a t-shirt on, they look okay, but when they take their t-shirt off, they look in the mirror and they're like, oh man, that's not what I was going for. So what we want to do is try and keep our lean mass, and that includes our muscle mass as well as our bone density. That also includes the weight of our organs. So when we get our lean mass tested, that's what's included: bone density, muscle mass, and the weight of our organs. And we want to fight to keep all of that lean mass, and if possible, even put some on. Now, there's different ways to do that. The goal of my channel has always been to keep or maintain my lean mass, or even build a little bit of lean mass as I lose weight. But I think what's happening in my personal situation is whenever I'm doing any activity, though that's increasing my metabolism, my hormones, which aren't really doing too well right now, are getting affected in a negative way. Possibly too much of a cortisol bump. My body gets a little inflamed and my insulin goes up. What I want to do is try and let everything calm down. I talked about this in my last video. I'm letting everything calm down a little bit till the end of the year because I've actually cut my thyroid medication almost in half, and I'm waiting to see what the results are. Now, that's not something I'd recommend anyone doing unless under doctor supervision, and I'm doing it under doctor supervision. I think looking back, the cause of everything was my adrenal gland being stressed out, which caused my thyroid gland to react. So everything has been better balanced in the last little while, and to the point where my allergies have virtually gone away. I can't keep talking about that enough. That blows me away, and that's what a 90-10 ratio did from fat to protein for a whole 3-month stretch. And I tell you, it seemed to make a dramatic difference. So I'm happy with that. There was some weight gain that went with that, and as well, I'm already back down to under where I started. But I've lost lean mass in that time because I wasn't doing anything really, not too much in the last 3 months or so, as far as weight training goes, as far as bodybuilding of any kind goes. So I think what I'm going to do is continue to lay off because the scale's been moving without me doing that exercise. So even though when you look at metabolism isn't just lean mass. Metabolism is also how your hormones are balanced and how well they're working in your body and how they're willing to utilize fuel in your body. So my hormones are part of my metabolism, and so is my lean mass, my skeletal mass. That's also part of my metabolism. So together, when they work in conjunction with each other, everything should work very symbiotically. But when they're both out of whack, I can build all the lean mass I want, but if that's causing a stress to my body in the meantime, then I may have to alter the type of weight training I'm doing or exercises that I'm doing. And I have been walking, but I haven't been doing anything to maintain my lean mass. So I'm going to look into that early in the year next year. For the last few months of the year, I'm going to focus a little more on the diet end of things. I've been doing 1 meal a day, sometimes 2 meals a day. I'm doing more metabolic confusion right now. The scale's moving not in a positive direction. It's moving down. That's a great direction. That's a positive direction. But I've also been losing the lean mass with it. But that might just be part of the process until I get down to a certain weight when everything is a little more balanced, and then my body can adjust better. And then maybe I can start incorporating some weight training exercises. So I'll wait and give this a few months to see how it's going, but we're going to go over the results of my BodPod exam starting now. So if you look at the top, beside number 1, that was my first BodPod exam, and that was actually just when I started my first YouTube video back in 2021 in September. So my body fat percentage was 44.8. So my fat-free mass was 185 pounds, almost 186, and I started at 336.7 pounds. Now, I'd already lost a substantial amount of weight by that point. So my estimated resting metabolic rate for calories in versus calories out was about 2,451 per day. And if you look at levels number 1 through 6, I believe, those are all the different exams I gave myself in that stretch for a challenge I was doing. And that was the first 4 months I did this challenge. Now I started putting on a few pounds of lean muscle per month. And then all of a sudden, boom, I just dropped it. And all of a sudden my body just went, boop, no, I don't want it. And I lost that lean mass, even though I was continuing to exercise. Now there's always the possibility that my body adapted to that exercise. But there's a good example of how by line 4, I went and lost almost 10 solid pounds of lean mass in just 1 month. Now, I find that hard to believe because I was exercising, but the results don't lie, and these tests show this. BodPod exam is just as accurate as a DEXA scan, but there's no x-ray, so it's actually a lot safer to get done. So if you look down all the way to line number 12, September 6th, 2023, my total weight under the blue column was 304 pounds, 0.5. So I had lost a substantial amount of weight. So I had actually just lost 50 pounds doing that, over 50 pounds actually, because the last few months I'd put on weight doing that high fat version of carnivore. And so the scale has actually gone past where I originally got it to. But if you look, my lean mass is down almost 10 pounds. So yeah, that's pretty substantial. So that's not really a huge win. My body fat percentage because of that went up to 43%. Now I'm still ahead of where I was at level 1 at 44.8%. So I think that's just going to be the way this is going to go for the next few months. I think I'm just going to keep losing lean mass as I continue to lose weight. And then at the end, I should be able to bounce it back up. But I'm going to give this a shot for a few months and see how it goes. This is also showing that my resting metabolic rate is now 2,270 calories. Now, 2 years ago, I had over 200 calories more per day that my body could burn, in theory, because calories are to be taken with a grain of salt, because calories versus hormones play a factor in this. It's not just about calories. So we're also going to look at my actual pounds of fat. So my fat mass is 131 pounds exactly, and my lean mass, as we saw on the last chart, is 173.5. combining my total weight to 304 pounds. I'm still not in a good category as far as body fat percentage rating goes for men. I'm still at a high risky level of body fat, but overall, I'm going in the right direction overall. I'm still losing weight. So I'm doing these exercises every day. It's balancing on all fours. It's increasing range of motion and strength on all fours, a type of calisthenics. The whole goal of it is to increase my flexibility. And I'm doing that, and I'm just shifting around, moving my weight around, and it's not flattering to look at. It's not flattering to show off, but it's going to be a nice contrast when you see where I am in another 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months from now, or even a year from now. And you're going to be able to see what else I've done. Now, one of the things that will help that is if I continue to lose weight in that meantime, even though I've lost a substantial amount of weight on a carnivore diet, over 160 pounds, it's going to look even better when I'm down, say, another 40 or 50 pounds, because those last 50 pounds are going to be as noticeable as the first 150. Because the first 150, and when people are that big, when I was 465 pounds, and you lose 50 pounds or 75 pounds, people don't really notice that because it's such a small percentage of my overall weight. But when I get down to 300 pounds and I lose 50 pounds, that's going to be very noticeable. And it's going to make a big difference in the way I move as well. So when I'm doing these exercises on all fours, you're going to see a difference just because I'm not going to have fatty end fields. So I've always talked about stressing the good and the bad with this channel. And yes, I've lost weight. That's good. The bad news is I've lost a lot of lean mass. And it's just one of those things I'm going to have to accept for a little while and make up for it maybe a little more in a few months. And then once my body is in a better, healthier state, I'm going to start seeing how my body responds to increasing its lean mass. Because when I increased my lean mass before, my body fat percentage was dropping really slow, probably because it was putting my body in a chronically inflamed state. And once my body is in better health, I think I'm going to be able to be a little more active without it stressing my body out to an excess. So it's only a theory. Let's see how this works. So thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you watching this video to the end. Take care.